Yeah. Like I was just kind of like, ladies, I don't think this is working the way you think it's working. Like, and I could just kind of tell that Sierra and Genevieve like really thought they were like, oh yeah, this is really gonna work. Clayton's gonna believe us and then like send Shanae home. But I was like, I don't think it's like again, there's been so many events that have happened already that it was almost like they weren't even very thoughtfully explaining to Clayton what Shanae has been doing wrong. Like they were just like, she's not wife material. She's not a mother. And I was like, Sierra, what are you like? Yeah, like Sierra, like there's a lot of things wrong with Shanae, but it's not that she's not wifely. Like, I was like, I felt like people were like losing track of the actual like sequence of events and the actual things that like Shanae has done so many bad things. She has like made fun of like a girl's like neurodivergence. She has like intentionally lied and manipulated the scene. She's antagonized all these women. She's done a lot wrong. Y'all are like kind of like bringing up these like she just has this bad energy. You just don't want to marry a girl like her. I'm like, guys, we're losing track here. We're losing track of the threads. And it's like, as I was listening to them talk to Clayton, I was just like, I just don't think this is gonna work out. Like, I don't think Clayton is like eating this up really. So I just was mostly just like, oh man. I wasn't surprised when Sinead showed up and he was like, let me just make out with her. Like, I wasn't surprised at all because nobody was giving a very convincing case for everything that, is bad about what Sinead has been doing. No one really gave a very convincing case about it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think everyone kind of lost the plot on that date. Like Shanae, that's the one thing that I think she's really good at. She's focused on her connection of Clayton. And then when things happen with the girls, she's like, it's because of all of this drama in the house, but I just want to focus on you. If the girls had developed that and then he actually fostered a connection of them individually, I think he would be more inclined to then listen to them about Shanae because he now trusts them. And he's like, oh, you're here for me and you're noticing something about Shanae versus maybe girls coming out of the woodwork and just being like, not really talking to him and just kind of complaining about Shanae right away. It is hard to listen to, especially if you're looking for a partner. Like I think it's easy for him to like tune it out and for him not to be like, this is super important to me. I want to talk to the girls I want to talk to and the girls I like.
Yeah. Like it's kind of like, Clayton said he's like, oh great, I'm gonna get to sit down and hang out with this like hot babe Sierra. But then like Sierra starts talking about like this like drama related to Shanae, and it's like,
and it sounds so small,
it sounds so small, and it's like then it becomes like it goes from like cool, I'm gonna have this like awesome like hang with this like pretty girl to like, oh my gosh, it's so exhausting to be around this person because she keeps bringing up all of this stuff, and like it's like really not helping. Like but Genevieve too, like Genevieve is someone who I feel like has been like, I don't know if front runner is the right word, but like Genevieve has been someone who I have thought like, ooh, I feel like there's something like actually there between him and like her and Clayton.
But she's bothered by it. Yeah.
Like she's getting so bothered that her energy is getting kind of like muddy and negative. And like, I'm like, I don't think Clayton's gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think Clayton's gonna be enjoying being around you. And like, so I was just kind of like, I think this is kind of backfiring was mainly how I was feeling during this after party. I just don't think it was working in the way these girls were hoping it was going to work,
Yeah. And I think to your point, Kelly, I think that they were relying a lot on like emotions. What you were saying about like the wifely, like she's not a good mother or whatever, like that's an opinion. Like that's not a fact. That's not something you can fact check or verify.
And it's a mean thing to say about someone.
It is,
it's unnecessary to call into question someone's ability to do those things. I just thought they were just, it was out of hand.
Yeah, and it's very unsubstantiated. But like the things that Shanae has actually done, she's actually done those things. So I think if they had led with that, like if they had been like, hey, Clayton, you're missing part of the story. Like the actual beef between Shanae and Elizabeth started when Shanae, was making fun of her ADHD. Like if they had led with like facts and like stuff that Shanae could not refute, I think Clayton would have no choice to be like, okay, do I want to continue dating this girl who can actively like bully someone in this way? Or But like
Right.
now he's just got like, oh, she's not a good wife. But like ultimately that's for Clayton to
Yeah.
decide. That was never for
Right.
the girls to decide. So I think he's just kind of like,
Good
well,
point.
your opinion doesn't really matter in terms of who I want
Right.
to make my wife. So
Right.
I think that just the way they went about it. And I think for them, it's like, those are the conclusions that they've drawn based on all the drama that they've seen. So I get why they got to those conclusions. But at the same time, like Clayton's not there. And I think they're starting in the
Yeah.
middle of the story for Clayton
Yes.
instead of at the beginning of the story.
Mhm.
And we know Clayton's not going to go back and do the work to get to the beginning of the story.
No,
So
he's not.
they
He's
can
taking
throw
it
out for him.
exactly as they say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, and like you even heard when Shanae eventually came and, you know, she was like, whatever Clayton was like, oh, like the girls have been bringing up like questions about your character. And she was like, oh yeah, it's always like something's wrong with my character, but never any specifics. And he was like, you're right. There's never any specifics. And like he was sitting there kind of like, and he was like really believing what she was saying because it was true. No one is bringing up specifics. And like it does make their whole kind of case sound more like kind of petty, we just don't like her kind of stuff. And it's like,
Yeah.
it's not that you just don't like Shanae. It's like Shanae has actively taken actions that have been antagonistic, negative, like bullying. Like, truly, like she's done things that have been really terrible. But if you're just like, we just don't like her character, it's like that doesn't mean anything. People like, you know. So
like, well, you don't have to date her. So if you want more of where that came from, be sure to check out our full episode recap. It'll be linked in the description as well as pop up on this screen.